Hi folks, I'd like to tell you about an exciting resource from Zondervan, the NIV Integrated Study Bible. This is not likely to be a Bible that you carry to Sunday service or to do your devotional reading from. This is a study tool for pastors, theologians, and any kind of serious Christian. The ISB, the Integrated Study Bible, takes the NIV 2011 text and organizes it in chronological order, according to the date of the writing of every particular book. The earliest example you'll encounter is turning from Genesis, expecting to see Exodus, and all of a sudden running into the book of Job. This brings a whole new perspective, and it counters our tendency to see the layout of the book as being driven by the history of the various books. A more familiar example will be found in the New Testament. We read the book of Acts as the history of the missionary establishment of the Christian church, and it runs from about 30 AD to 60 AD. Most of Paul's letters and the book of James are written during this period, but the canonical order of the standard Bible that you read places them after the end of the book of Acts. This can sometimes give us the impression that events that occur in these different books are occurring somehow after the events that are occurring in Acts. But if we open up the book of Acts and we read to about chapter 13, we find ourselves in the time frame in which the book of James is written. So what the Integrated Study Bible has done is take the book of James and put it into its chronological place in the story of the church. And so rather than finding it closer to the end of the book as though it was somehow occurring long after all of these other things have occurred, we begin to find that the things that James is dealing with in his book are related to what's going on during this period in the book of Acts. Let's have a look at how the ISB is laid out. Let's take a look at some of the pages. We see that 2 Samuel and 1 Chronicles are aligned next to one another, again, because they fall within the same historical period. You see the running heading at the top of the page, Conquest of the United Kingdom. This describes the historical era in which the editors have broken up the text. There are 7 of them throughout the ISB. If we scroll down a little bit on this page, we find also that Psalm 27 makes an appearance because, again, the time frame of Psalm 27 fits in the same historical era as these 2 other books. When we turn the pages a little bit further, we come into the historical section entitled The Divided Kingdom and Exile. And what we find is 2 Kings, 2 Chronicles, the 2 books we understand fitting together. But then the book of Isaiah begins. So we get an interesting historical perspective by putting the texts in a different order. Another interesting feature of the ISB is a gospel parallel, or a gospel harmony as it's otherwise called. This organization aligns the Gospels side by side, including the 3 synoptics and John. What this does is it enables us to compare parallel passages to see those things that each writer elected to emphasize or elected to de-emphasize. It's especially interesting to put John beside the synoptics to see how his unique gospel reveals the Lord in relation to how the other authors are emphasizing different aspects of the Lord's ministry. Have a look at this layout. Here's a typical page from the Gospel Harmony. We see Matthew, Mark, and Luke making an appearance. This is a really great tool to put these parallel passages side by side so that we can see how each of the authors approaches that particular event or doctrine or teaching of Jesus. I've shown you just a couple of features of this excellent book, but there are numerous other features spread throughout this Bible. Where the Old Testament and the New Testament share passages, they're put together so that you can see, for example, where a New Testament author borrows from the Old Testament and then where that passage is located. Along the bottom of each page, you probably saw it in some of the layouts that we saw, there's a historical timeline that shows where that particular passage is located historically. Though the appeal of the ISB is somewhat narrow, for those who find this kind of information useful in their understanding of the gospel, this is a fantastic study Bible. Is it perfect? Not at all. It would benefit greatly from the hand of a skilled graphic artist to make the reading experience friendlier. But other than that, you won't be disappointed with this book. If you find this type of Bible useful, give the Integrated Study Bible a look. Reading the Bible in this fashion is different from the canonical order, but God may use it to open up many new perspectives and insights for you. Thanks for watching, and God bless.